Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's Diego, and man oh man, it's been a while. I really appreciate you still being here, and if you're a first time viewer, welcome. I've been having so much fun building decks in this post-rotation format because many cards that were pretty much unplayable before, due to other cards being in the meta, are now coming into light and they are shining. In my case, I'm really enjoying Baymax Armored Companion and Sven Keen-Eyed Reindeer because, like Bell Accomplished Mystic, they help quite a bit in shifting or maintaining board control. I wanted to note that I built this list being mindful of not wanting to be hit by a Strength of a Raging Fire on turn 4 and be dealt a huge tempo loss. So all 4 cost characters have a minimum of 4 willpower and a minimum of 3 strength because we want to make sure we can take out those early game characters whether we are challenging or being challenged, and they still get to remain in play. Also, I wanted to point out that our turn 4 is probably the most important turn in the game. This is the turn we go for that huge tempo swing, with all of our 5 cost characters being able to support our characters already in play, while helping them remove opposing characters. So we started off on the draw, and we were able to pull off probably our best start of the game with Rafiki, and then on turn 2 Seal the Azure IC while playing another Rafiki after we inked for an additional time. And as you saw, my opponent started with Rhino and was able to shift on turn 2 and now has 2 Tianas in play. But he hasn't been wanting to exert by either questing or singing, so I'm thinking maybe a Strength of a Raging Fire is coming up pretty soon. So here we play the Elsa exerting the Rhino. And then Scrooge sings into the unknown, taking the Rhino out into the inkwell. Or out into the unknown. And I quest up and pass because both Tianas, it'll take 2 Tianas to take out 1 Rafiki, so I feel pretty safe in just questing with my Rafikis. My opponent sings Strength, plays a lady, allowing him to play a dock and drawing 2 cards, and then passes. I ink a Sven, hate to see it. It's a card I really wanted to showcase, but it always happens. Every time you want to showcase a card, it just ends up becoming ink. And then when you finally get to use it, it just feels so good. Yeah, I want to save the Rafikis. I don't want them to be free banishes for my opponent. So like what I tend to think is, okay, if I quest with this character, are they gonna trade with their character when they challenge into it? Because if not, then I feel like it's just not worth to exert the character, to quest with the character when they can bring so much value later on, when they could have potentially removed threatening characters that my opponent has instead of just giving us 1 lore each, you know? And here we go, exerting 7 ink to bring in the big boss of the deck. Hades inking away the Tiana, and then Rafiki takes out Doc, and then I pass after questing. My opponent plays another Rhino and a lady, playing a Prince for free. We ready up, draw. And see, this is what I was saying before. Now we can utilize our Rafikis that we still have on board since the first 2 turns of the game and use them to take out, or one of them at least, to take out the Prince with Elsa. And then Hades comes in, crashes into Rhino, and then we play the bell to finish off the other Rhino. And then unfortunately we finally have to trade one of our Rafikis to finish off the opposing Rhino, and we pass. My opponent uses Lady to take out our Rafiki, plays a little Rhino. I believe he gave Hades -1 strength and passed. Play a rider. Hades takes out Lady, and then we quest up, putting us to 8 to my opponent's now 10. They play a Lilo and pass. We ready up, draw. Play a Louis. So I was testing out Ben, eccentric robot, before I tested out Louis. But I found that he was getting removed by Strength of a Raging Fire too easy on turn 4 and giving me no value. But Louis survives that, and he still gives a pretty good whopping 3 strength to another character with his support. And he quests for 2. So same stats as Ben, just reversed. So I'd rather have a character that will most likely always remain in play by turn 4 than have no supporting character for my turn 4 play. Here my opponent realizes that there's no coming back for them, so they just split up and game 2. If you're enjoying the content, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it greatly. Alright, we draw our first 7 cards and we find ramp and 1 drop, so we're good to go pretty much. Anything after that is just extra, you know. But yeah, it seems like we find some space to modify our hand a little bit or alter, and we're gonna go ahead and do just that. Once again, we're on the draw. My opponent starts off by inking a I'm Still Here and plays a Rhino. I play a Rafiki and pass. My opponent shifts to Big Rhino, Power Hamster. Not wanting to quest, I'm not sure why, but maybe he has a grand plan with that. I ink a Sven, play a Sail the Azure IC. Ink an additional time for turn. You hate to see it. I hate to ink my double Sven. I really want to showcase that card, but it just keeps being inked. And then I play a Rafiki. My opponent plays a Tiana. Then on my turn I play a Scrooge. Nobody's exerting anything. They ink and play a Lawrence and pass. I'm playing very conservative here. I ink a Tipo, play a Scrooge and pass. My opponent plays a Daisy, followed up by a Pete, and passes. Already up, draw. We got a stalemate over here. I pass. Just waiting for my opponent to start exerting, although I should have quested there with the 2 Scrooges, because their characters, even if they wanted to crash into my Scrooges, would trade, and it would take more than one of their characters, so I should have quested there. Definitely not with the Rafikis though, those are staying upright. So finally my opponent quests with most of their characters except the Tiana. Not sure why. Maybe he fears Into the Unknown, or he has something in hand that he wants to use. Although I don't think he has a hand. So Scrooge will take out Lawrence, taking 4 damage. Then I'll transfer 3 of that damage with Bell, taking out the Rhino. The moving damage bypasses the dealing, so it takes Rhino right out. then Scrooge will take out Daisy, and then our Rafiki will trade with Pete. I'd rather trade with my Rafiki than put 3 damage on my Scrooge, since he's a way more valued character. And look at my hand. An Elsa, Spirit of Winter, and 2 Into the Unknowns. I mean, I guess my opponent was right into not exerting his Tiana. But the Into the Unknowns, I see them as emergency cards, just like Hades and Elsa. Like I don't like to use them unless like I absolutely need to. I rather take care of the board with my opponent's board with my characters being more resourceful, because Into the Unknown ramps them, and you definitely don't want to be doing that so easy. You know, we want to think always twice about that. Anka Hypnotic Strength. I'll play an Elsa exerting the Tiana and the Genie Satisfied Dragon. Bell sings Into the Unknown, sending Tiana into the Inkwell, and then a second Into the Unknown comes down, being sung by Scrooge, taking out the Genie Satisfied Dragon. What a tempo swing. Leaving only small Rhino on board, and my opponent scoops it up. Blurple takes the match. Once again, if you liked the vid, please sub and drop a like. Thank you and happy questing.